Hey, all you comic book fans out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And guys, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to talk about, that's right, The Wake issue number 4. That's right, I think we had a little bit of a hiatus on this book. It was about a month or so. I think it skipped a month before it came out, just because there's a lot going on with Villains Month. I'm sure Snyder's been busy, and but it's finally out, and as soon as I got it, I'm like, dude, freaking awesome. The Wake is out. And I love the cover here. You got the little merman creature. You got one that looks up close, and then you got one that looks up in the background. You got like the submarine here, fluorescent looking like cover or colors here in the outlines of the letters. Just kind of fits that book with a darkened but bright type of feel. Kind of like how all their other issues are. Um, Obviously, our book is written here by Scott Snyder. You guys know he's a phenomenal writer. And the artist here, which is Sean Murphy, where the art by now, if you're reading this series, really fits the tone of the book. It's a really dark and eerie, sketchy in ways type of book, but it does fit it. The colors here are really what makes the book as well. Just like these dark tones and just creepy, eerie type of feel. The Wake is a type of book that is definitely a horror movie type of feel to it. You see that in the last issue where they're trying to escape the creatures and they're going to another side of the rig or a different part of the rig. And you kind of get that here in this issue too. It reminds you of Aliens type of feel. That's where I feel where everybody's getting picked off one by one, but then there's going to be this sole survivor when it's all said and done. That's how I feel about this series so far. Even though it's a little bit predictable, it's still an interesting story, and there's something creepy about deep, dark, underwater world, because as a human species, we don't know that much about the ocean. And in all realities, I think the ocean, is superior to us land dwellers. So it's interesting to see a book like this. But the book opens up in the plains 100,000 years ago, and you get to see that here, and you get to see this like caveman guy and this other guy here that kind of looks like the merman. It's got that facial features, the paint, and everything else. And he brings out this cannon and he like shoots these guys. And you're like, what does this have to do with anything? And this book really does this here. It really keeps that mystery going because they have this moon thing and they show things in the future. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens in these couple of pages. And how it all comes together will be interesting. But the issue continues where it left off. And you see our scientists basically fighting for their lives. To try to get to this other rig, this ghost rig, because the other one's being taken over by these mermen. And one of the scientists just basically gets eaten up by the creatures. That's how the book really opens up, and you get to see them swarm. They're like piranhas, just chewing the flesh off of the diver and the scientist. And he just says these last final words before he gets taken out, which was pretty cool. And our couple scientists here wind up just trying to find any means of way of escaping. And wherever they go, there's just swarms of them coming around. And you're just like, come on, let's go. We got to go. And they wind up going into this other side of the rig, going through this pipeline and whatnot. And they escape. And what happens is they wind up meeting with one of the other scientists. And I'm not quite sure how he got to this other rig, but he was pretending to be one of the creatures to scare him off or scare off any enemies because he had a head. But in the issue, you get to see the other rig that they were in just gets completely destroyed. And this is an older version of the rig, and what's going to happen is these creatures are going to destroy this rig too, because it's an older version. So they come up with this plan, and Dr. Archer is really desperate here to find a solution on the way to get out. And you can see she's thinking of her boy, how she never got her boy the HDMI cables for the game system, and she has to come up with a plan. So they come up with this plan with this drilling thing to create this loud noise to shatter their brains, to hopefully blow them up there. there's this reference here to this old story of what's going on, and little things like that. But the main thing is this drill. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, they think that the drill is tearing apart the facility, but it's not really that at all. What's tearing up the facility is this. Now, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to see this, just fast forward a few seconds. Okay, here we go. It is a big-ass version of the merman creature. So right when you couldn't get any worse, it does. Because at first you come across one of these merman creatures. Then you come across a whole bunch of the merman creatures. Now you have a whole bunch of the merman creatures, and you have this big-ass merman creature. How can it get any worse, and how are they going to escape from this? I have no idea. But this was very interesting, and it always throws in some weird stuff in here that happens way in the future, way in the past. Just when you think it can't get any weirder, it does get weirder. And I like this book. I like the ride that it's bringing us, you know. It's not always like so action-packed, or it's not a huge page turner because it's kind of predictable, but nevertheless, it's a good story, and it still keeps you in there to be like, what's going to happen? How are they going to get out of here? That's why I want to find out what happens. How the hell do they get out of here? You got to feel for Dr. Archer. She misses her child. She's the only one that you really have a good grasp on in this book. The other characters are almost forgettable, and I kind of would like to see like a reintroduction to the other characters, because they don't touch on the characters as much because they're running away from these creatures. But Dr. Archer is the main character here, and she's the one that, yes, you should care about. So, guys, give me your opinions, your thoughts on this book, this series at this point, as we're nearing the halfway point to it. And, guys, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. This is a fun read and enjoyable as well. So, guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. Until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spiderslayer signing off. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.